designer of the Dickerson 37, and the boat I own, first song, is actually hull number 1, though I didn't purchase her until 13 years later in 1994. Working with Dickerson as the designer was a hoot. It was the first time they built a fiberglass boat from the ground up, and so I had to teach them a lot of the ins and outs of fiberglass boat building. But they're a great bunch of people to work with, and it's kind of great to be here and see people like Ted Reed and all the others after all these years.
Hi, we're Carrie and
Chris
O'Malley, and we're here on the Bug-Eye Chesapeake. The Bug-Eye Chesapeake is a 1954 Dickerson built boat. We've had her for about 4 years now, and we're one of many owners that she's had up and down the bay.
I've been sailing since I was 12 years old. I've had about 5 boats, and I had most of them were fiberglass boats. And 30 years ago, I bought the Irish Mist. My wife said, "What are you buying a wooden boat for after all that?" I said, "Because it has a lot of character and a lot of class." And I love that boat, and had it for 30 years. At 85 years old, I hope that I can sail it some more. So it's great, and we're having a Dickerson history here. Company Dickerson is 66 years. They old since they started building the boats. They built them for 41 years. We're going to have the largest turnout ever with 104 people. So it's going to be a great occasion.
Good evening. I'm Barry Creighton, the skipper and owner of Crew Rest, a D37 1984. It's a sloop. It started its life as Whisper and entered the charter fleet, and then it was sold 3 times before we bought it in 2006. Interestingly, we chartered 2 Dickerson 37s in the 1980s when they were brand new. That was Running Free and Eclipse, and decided at that point that Judy and I, my wife, would buy one at some time. That didn't happen until 2006 when one finally came on the market, and we've loved her and cherished her ever since. Been here 6 years in a row, and we'll continue to come as long as we can. It's a great boat.
I'm Bill Burry. Here's my wife, Chris. We own Plover, Dickerson 41, built in 1976. We've done 1 transatlantic with her.
And we've owned her since 1984. She's the only one that was built with a hard Dodger.
We've been out since Monday.
And she's the only one that carries 400 gallons of water, all the 41s.
And we're going back up to Newfoundland with her in just a couple of weeks.
I'm Don Wagaman with Southern Cross, Dee's deckhand, and just ask Dee. Anything you want to know about the boat, ask Dee.
Hi, I'm Dee Wagaman, co-owner of Southern Cross, the last wood Dickerson built at the Dickerson Boatyard, and the first Dickerson 41 of its design, and designed by Ernie Tucker, here from the Eastern Shore, and the first Dickerson to circumnavigate the world with the original owners, Neville and Louise Lewis. They bought the boat in 1974, knowing that it was going to be the plug for the remainder of the boats, the fiberglass boats. And Neville and Louise and their son Chris took the boat around the world from 1975 to 1979. And they had planned just to go for 2 years, but they had too much fun, as they told us, and it was inexpensive to be in the Pacific, and so they ended up staying a little longer than 2 years. And they came back and owned the boat till 1984 when my husband Don purchased it. He said that he wasn't really looking for, he was looking for a cruising boat, and when he saw her lines, he just fell in love, and he bought her. And then I met him in 1992, and he told me that he wanted to go cruising. Well, I didn't know that that was, and he said that he explained that people, you know, you go off in a boat, and I said, "Oh, you mean people live on boats?" I didn't realize it. So obviously I had to start from ground zero to learn about cruising and sailing. And so it's all been on Southern Cross. And we've had great adventures on her, going as far north as Maine and around to the west coast of Florida, to the Bahamas and to the Caribbean, on around the leewards, the windwards, down as far as Trinidad and then Venezuela, and then on out to the ABC Islands and out to the Western Caribbean, which would be that would be Honduras, Colombia, and Guatemala. Great places to visit, and on up to Belize, and then back to the United States. And now we're doing a refit, remodeling the interior of the boat. And
This is Jake Bear. The boat is Volantis, the 50-foot Dickerson, and it's essentially one and only of its kind. I think there's another one somewhere, but nobody knows where it is. And it's I think still the queen of the fleet. The question was whether it's wood or fiberglass. It's fiberglass, built in 1983. Looks like an old wooden traditional, a lot of the hair shaft blood in it, but it's essentially a new boat.
Okay, I'm Randy Wilcox, and I own Moon Shadow with John and another buddy. Moon Shadow is a 30-foot sloop, Dickerson sloop, and we bought it for $1, and $20,000 later we were able to use it. Took us 8 years to restore it.
It was built back in 1963, probably in the backyard of Bill Dickerson's house when he had that old railroad system going down into the water, and where he just built one boat after another. There's a 1959 here that was probably built in his backyard also, from what we understand. And so we're glad it was going to be cut up by a chainsaw and burned in a fire, and we're glad that we saved it from that. And we're glad to be involved with the Dickerson Association and bring this boat back to life.
We're Karen and Dick Clark, and we own Imagine, which is a Dickerson 37. It was built in 1985, originally named Free Flight. We renamed it Imagine in 1989. We've owned it for 23 years.
And we've done 24,000 miles.
She's given us 4 of the Great Lakes, the St. Lawrence Seaway out past Gaspé Peninsula. We've been to Prince Edward Island,
Broaddoor Lakes.
Broaddoor Lakes, Cape Breton Island, Nova Scotia, Bay of Fundy, East Coast, all the way to Florida, 4 times to the Bahamas, 2 times in the waterway, 2 times offshore.
And nothing but fun.
And it's just the boat has just given us every penny we put into her. She's given us back twofold.
We were at anchor in a full-fledged hurricane in the Bahamas. I think it's fine.
Anchored behind the Statue of Liberty back when
that was wonderful.
When that was legal to do.
Before the World Trade Center.
It's just been a great boat.
And we're selling it now. This is our last event.
Yeah, this is it. We're moving on to the next adventure. The boat's on the market. It's going to go into the brokerage area over in Annapolis on Tuesday, and on Wednesday they're going to haul away my boatyard car that got donated, and on Thursday they load the truck and move us out to Chicago.